Hey guys, welcome to Staying Strong with Ashley. I'm Ashley, and I just want to today talk about anxiety and how much recently it's been affecting my life. I know I've talked about it in the past, and I've done some ways and stuff, but I just want to go over some things that I've recently learned and things that I think would be helpful to you. So with COVID and working from home and all these things, I've realized more and more that I have a lot of fear, and that my anxiety underlying comes from fear. Because I'm so anxious about what the future holds, I'm not always living in the present, and and I think that's important to realize that the more that we're anxious of what's going to happen, where we're going to go, what does this look like, that we're not taking in the moment and taking in the present moment of where we're at. So I just want to bring that up because I've been really trying to be in the present moment, to see what I have around me and be grateful for that. Um, the other thing I've noticed is that sometimes things just become very overwhelming, and I don't my brain doesn't understand sometimes the magnitude of how overwhelmed I am. And so that comes up in a lot of things too. That comes up in triggering with my asthma, that comes up with maybe not feeling well, or sleeping or whatever. Like when I feel overwhelmed, I tend to have a lot of different physical things that are working through where I'm at. And so I think it's important to just see that as well, that hey, this is that I'm just overwhelmed, right? Um, I know that it can have a lot to do with where we're at now with COVID, right? We probably didn't have as much anxiety or as much of ability that we're in close quarters as we have recently. And although like there are a lot of things that I can still go out and do and kind of have, there are still some limitations I have as well. And so with this video, I just wanted to talk about things that I've noticed about myself that I'm hoping you can learn from, and things that I can remember later, because I'm sure I will. So one of them is that I've noticed that a lot of my fear is based on what might happen in the future. And so if this happens, then XYZ will happen, and etc. So an example would be, if I get fired from my job, then I'd have to do this and this and this and this, right? And then I have to go back to, well, where did that come from? And so some of that I realize is that from this book that I'm reading called Miracle Morning, is that our past experiences we had have now dictated some of our future. And so when we have a past experience that's happened, and we know that, right, we've already seen that happen, then our anxiety or the nervousness of that happening again, and or the end result happening again, can cause a lot of anxiety and fear. And yet the reality is that that experience is just an experience. It has nothing to do with today. It doesn't cross over. They're just a connection, right? It's not like it's going to happen again, which most of the time it doesn't. There are things that have. Case in point, all three of my children happen the same exact way. And, but now they know what's to do, and so we go from there. But most of the time, our past experiences we allow to dictate our future and dictate where we're at. And so because we've known this, and we know, it's like almost comfortability. There's a comfortability, and so we know it's going to happen, but we don't want it to. So what do? We realize the truth, like the real reality of the truth. And so for me, if I'm fearful of something that I know has happened in the past, say that, I lost my job and I would have to move back, you know, like lost my job. That's my fear. And the past is that I would have to move back to Minnesota because, you know, that's what I did before. I have to think back if that's the reality. Is that the reality? Well, no, no, there's so many other options, so many other choices now. Like, I have so many different things in the pot of stirring that this is not always true. But the more I think about the past experience and the fear of maybe losing my job or getting sick or whatever, then I start to go down the what if and the anxiety, and it leads further down to some place where I don't need to be. You know, it's not healthy. And so just remember that, like, where we were before and how that allowed us to be where we are today, but that isn't who we are today, right? So the kids and the divorce, that all allowed me to be the person I am today and helped me be that, or helped me be that person today, but it isn't who I am today, right? Who I am today is very different. And so I say that because it's very important for us to realize how much of an impact our past continuously has on us. Another thing I've realized is that the more that I'm afraid of something, and the more I'm afraid of a situation happening, the more I think about it. Instead of just telling myself what the truth is, I think about it over and over and over and then get worked up. So today we had an outdoor Sunday service, which was a lot of fun, and it was really cool, and we were 6 feet away and everything. But I started to get really anxious and scared and just felt very overwhelmed. And honestly, it is a very natural thing to feel. I hadn't seen that many people in a long time. I hadn't been with most of those people before. And so I just had to really, you know, be cautious. And that was okay. But the reality is that it didn't have to be this big thing as it was made up in my mind. I had to think of the truths. So I was talking with a friend, and I just said out loud, like, okay, well, I'm not okay, I'm having a panic attack, and, you know, so I need to remember the truths, right? What are the truths? And in that situation, the truth was, if I felt uncomfortable, I could go and listen to service in my car, right? There's an option, I can still do it in my car. I'm 6 feet away from people. Everyone's pretty much wearing a mask. We are, you know, not hugging, not touching, not doing anything. And we're just allowing ourselves to be in this moment together. And the truth was, it was also like, am I taking in the moment that I'm there? Like, it had been so long since I've been to a church service in person. It had been so long since I've seen some of these people that I didn't take in the moment, you know, until later. I was later, you know, taking in the moment. But at the time, that's what it felt. And I also realized, like, it was okay to feel overwhelmed and nervous and all those things, but I don't have to let it control me. I don't have to let it become something that isn't there. I did it, and it was good, and it was a really great service, honestly. But I also was thinking about some other things that have come to light with the book Miracle Morning, as well as with church service, was how often am I actually grateful and thankful for what's happening in my life. I can go sometimes to the negative and be like, oh, here's that. But am I writing down? Am I remembering all the wonderful, grateful, like, there's just so much to be thankful for. And am I remembering that? Am I thinking that? Am I constantly having that in my brain? Because the more that I'm grateful and thankful for the things in my life, or where I'm at, or maybe the changes that are going to happen, instead of being scared, I can be thankful and grateful for that, because it'll allow me to grow and to be better and to do better. Or it'll allow me to see the new future that is working in my life, or, you know, whatever that may be. So, um, an example of that too is last Sunday I was having asthma issues, went to urgent care, found out that I had costochondritis and asthma exasperation. But the thing is that I realized, okay, so this is not only serious, but this is something that I have, right? Like, it's a circumstance. And throughout the week, I realized how grateful I am for that, because it made me think about how much I need to take step back from different things, how I need to have more rest in my life, that I'm feeling too anxious and overwhelmed all the time, that it's causing a lot of issues. And also, if you guys haven't noticed from the previous videos, I talk pretty fast. And so slowing down when I talk, because when I talk fast, I actually don't breathe. I know, crazy. So, just taking in those times that it's like, hey, where is my gratitude? What am I really grateful for and thankful for? And so, I've been trying to do that every day, write down something I'm grateful for and just thankful for from the day, because it reminds me of how wonderful that day was. Instead of focusing on the negative of this and this and this and this, I can then see, okay, great, like I went outside today and I saw people today and I was able to get in my car, like, like I had water, and I think that especially in our sadness, in our guilt, in our fear, and in our anxiety, we don't think about the positives. Our brain automatically goes to those things, sadness, guilt, and anxiety, and that sort of thing. Like, it automatically goes there instead of thinking about the positives. And so, I just want to want to encourage you to try a few of these things this week. When you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious, to realize, like, what's the real truth? Is the truth from your past experiences? Is the truth that, hey, you are okay? Or, like, what is the real truth behind that? And then think about the gratitude and gratefulness and just things that you can be thankful for the day. Things that have come together. And when you do that, then you're also in the moment. Think about being in the moment that you're here right now. Like, there's nothing about this moment that you're going to experience again most of the time. So be in the moment, whether it's in the moment with your friends, your family, maybe a spouse, a roommate, or just, in the moment playing your video games or watching YouTube. Like, be in this moment, because in the moment means that you are alive and well, and that you are doing the best that you can do with what you have. And so I just also, just remember that you are doing the best that you can do with what you have. There's nothing outside of that that changes anything else. So I hope that you liked the video. If you're having issues with anxiety, if you're having a lot of fear, you need someone to talk to, comment below, go to my blog, it's in my description on the YouTube channel, and just reach out and we can connect and try to, continue to work through it together, because it's always easier to do things together. Otherwise, if you have different ideas, if you would like me to do something else, again, comment below. Please subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.